Only when you are willing to die can you truly live. Embrace the magic within. Everything starts there. Pretty powerful stuff, right? I was actually amazed at myself that those were the thoughts that came to mind when we did this visualization. So let's back up. I'm currently enrolled in coactive coaching to become a coactive coach. And I just completed the second course, and during that course, one of the activities we did, one of the skills we learned in order to help our clients was helping them discover their life purpose statement. And we did 3 different visualizations in order to kind of find this. And one of the visualizations was a very simple one actually, and it was to imagine seeing a billboard. And you see this billboard and know that everybody's gonna see it, everybody's gonna pass by it. You know, what would your billboard say? And it was crazy because like the first second was like, I have no idea. And before I could even finish that statement, the following statement came out. That until you are willing to die, can you fully live? I was shocked. I mean, deep down, I kind of knew what that meant, but I was shocked that that was the statement that came to be. And so when I got put in my dyads and I was working with my coach, shout out to Rohan. Rohan was my coach, and it was a really cool time kind of talking about this. And I shared with him my experience of breaking my leg and going on a spiritual vision quest and like the rebirth for me. And I felt like I was this phoenix, or I am this phoenix actually. I don't feel like I am. I am this phoenix because I was put into the ashes. I burned, you know, and the older John died that day and I didn't really know it yet. But it's not like you die and you come back and you're something completely different, right? Like when the phoenix dies and it comes back, it's still a phoenix, but it puts itself into the fire, and from the ashes, a new phoenix is born. It's the rebirth. You become a more authentic, more real, more honest, higher version of yourself, you know, and you have to shed the old you. But you can't get to that new point until you're first willing to shed that old you. You have to be willing to die. You have to be willing to let go of things. I'm kind of going in too deep here, so I'm gonna pull back a little bit. But another thing we talked about was The Matrix. And The Matrix is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you have not watched The Matrix, I believe it's on Netflix right now. It's a movie you're definitely gonna wanna take a look at, especially because we are about to watch 3 minutes from that movie right now. The first time I watched The Matrix, actually probably the first like 30 times I watched The Matrix, I wasn't even very aware or keen to the scene because I was just so caught up in how cool the martial arts was or the special effects or like all that stuff, you know, but you can never step into the same river twice, right? You watch a movie again, you see it differently. You read a book again, you see it differently. And so as I got older, as I got wiser, I don't want to say older, as I became wiser, because age is not a metric of wisdom. But as I became more wise, I became really in tune with this particular scene. So we're gonna watch that scene right now. It's about 3 minutes. So as usual, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Almost done. Smell good, don't they?
Yeah.
I'd ask you to sit down, but you're not going to anyway. And don't worry about the vase.
What vase?
That vase.
I'm sorry.
I said don't worry about it. I'll get one of my kids to fix it.
How did you know?
Oh, what's really going to bake your noodle later on is, would you still have broken it if I hadn't said anything?
Okay, we're gonna pause right there because that was just way too powerful to overlook. It's not even really what we're talking about, this whole rebirth, this whole dying before you can fully live. But I thought I'd point this out because really, like, think about that. Would he have knocked over the vase if she didn't say anything? I don't know. Who knows? I don't even think there's a right or a wrong answer, but I think that it's a beautiful inquiry question because it allows you to see your perspective on fate and destiny and free choice, right? Because it's like, you know, are we in control of our lives or has the story already been written? You know, like, where is that play? Where is that dance? And I don't think there is a right or a wrong answer. I don't think it's, this is destiny and this is how it always is and this is what your life is meant to be no matter what. Or it's like, no, you just have this kind of like free flowing, you choose whatever you want and it just, none of that matters. Destiny doesn't exist, right? For me, I feel like it's an interplay of both, right? It's kind of cool that I'm taking this coaching course called Coactive because I really feel like I'm co-creating my life. You know, it's a dance between me and the universe, between me and God of this play. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's just go ahead and get back to the scene because that's really what I want to talk about. But take a second. Remember, think about that. Would he have knocked over the vase if she didn't say anything? You ready now? All right.
You know why Morpheus brought you to see me. So, what do you think? Do you think you're the one?
Honestly, I don't know.
You know what that means? It's Latin. Means know thyself. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Being the one is just like being in love. No one can tell you you're in love, you just know it. Through and through. Balls to bones. Well, I better have a look at you. Open your mouth, say ah.
Ah.
Okay. Now I'm supposed to say, that's interesting, but then you say,
But what?
but you already know what I'm going to tell you.
I'm not the one.
Sorry, kid. You got the gift, but it looks like you're waiting for something.
What?
Your next life, maybe. Who knows?
Your next life, maybe. Who knows? I fucking did not catch that part the first 100 times that I watched The Matrix. But then it makes sense, because if you've already watched The Matrix, and wait, if you haven't, you probably shouldn't listen to what I'm about to say because it's going to ruin the end of the movie for you. So pause this, go watch The Matrix, come back, and then listen to what I have to say about it. But in the very end, Neo gets shot. He actually dies. He gets shot, he falls to the ground, you know, and they basically revive him. And he comes back to life, and when he comes back to life, they freaking shoot these bullets at him, and he's just like, no. And like the bullets stop in front of him, and then he like just drops the bullets, and all of a sudden he starts to see the world in binary, right? Like the green zeros and ones, just like he could see life completely different because he died and he came back. And that is when he became the one. And for me, like, I felt the same way. Like, after I snapped my shin in half and I went on this journey, and even though I continued to fight, like, eventually when I walked away, like, I thought that was it, but like, this is really it. And not like the one, like, I'm about to be fucking Neo and I'm gonna save the world and like that, and like, no, but like, me. I feel so much more authentically me. I feel so much more in my skin. I know myself, right? You heard her say that in there, like when she points to the banner up top and she's like, do you know what that is? That's Latin for know thyself. And I want to say that it was Aristotle who's given the credit of saying that. I'm not 100% sure, but even if it wasn't, it doesn't really matter. What matters is not who said it. What matters is what it means to know thyself. You know, do you really know yourself? Or are you still playing a role? Are you still wearing a mask? Are you even aware that you're wearing a mask? So many of your beliefs you have because they were given to you by your parents, by your friends, by your mentors, by your coaches, by the people in your life. And they were putting all these piles of beliefs on top of you of who you are and what's important, all this stuff. And like, you don't even know. You don't even know yourself. And until you fully know yourself, you can't be the one. You can't be your actual self, your authentic self, your highest self, where you are ready to rise to the occasion and own whatever it is that is meant to be of your destiny, if destiny is something that you actually believe in. So, I know for some of you watching, this might be a little bit too deep for you, okay? So, we're gonna kind of zoom out a little bit, and I'll just leave you with this one story, okay? It's a parable. The first time I heard it was from Wayne Dyer. I love me some Wayne Dyer. If you haven't read any Wayne Dyer or listened to Wayne Dyer, like, go look him up on YouTube, go on Amazon, order a book. Like, Wayne Dyer, I know you're no longer with us physically, but like, thank you for your influence on my life. Anyways, he talked about this parable. I believe it's an Indian parable, right? And it's about this Indian trader who goes to Africa. He goes to Africa to buy these goods and to buy some animals. And while he's there, he goes into the jungle. And while he's in the jungle, he sees this like tribe of multicolored, beautifully radiant talking parrots. He's so at awe of these parrots that he ends up taking one home with him. He takes it and makes it his pet. He puts this parrot in a cage and he loves it so much. He feeds it seeds and honey and he sings to it and he plays music for it. He just like really loves this animal and he's taking care of this animal. So 2 years go down and it's time for this trader to go back to Africa. And he goes to the parrot and he says, hey, I'm headed back to Africa and I'm most likely going to stop by the jungle. You know, is there anything you want me to tell your friends? And he said, yes. Tell them I'm happy in my cage, I'm enjoying life, and to just send my love. Okay. So the trader gets up, he goes to Africa, and he stops in the jungle. And then he finds this tribe of parrots again. I don't know if they're called a tribe. I'm just kind of making this up as I go, right? I don't know what you call a group, a flock of parrots. So he goes to them and he basically relays the message. And the moment he relays the message, one of the parrots wells up, its eyes well up with tears, and kneels over, and it dies. The trader is in shock. He doesn't know what to say. He thinks maybe they were just really close and he just misses them. So now the trader goes back home and he relays that same story of what happened in Africa with his pet parrot. And the moment he tells him the story, now his pet parrot wells up with tears, kneels over, and dies. So the man now takes the parrot, he takes it out of the cage and throws the parrot outside onto the heap trash. The moment the parrot hits the heap trash, it flies up into the branches. He says, you're alive. You tricked me. Why did you do that? And he said, because the parrot sent me a very important message. And then he said, if you want to truly live, if you want to be free of your cage, if you want to fly, you must learn to die while you are still alive. Joseph Campbell once said, we must get rid of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. Be willing to die so that you can fly.